Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday. Hope you're all having a great day so far. And it sounds like the rain is starting to lighten up a little bit. Still going to be seeing some rain here or there, but as we get into the weekend, it's nice to hear that we've got some sunshine.
Yeah, the weather news looks real good into the weekend. Still going to dodge a few showers this afternoon, but less rain coverage. In fact, right now we're in pretty good shape out there. See the Outer Banks from the Oregon Inlet to Hatteras. I'll show you that rain here in just a sec, but I like the way the weekend's setting up.
Yeah.
And then Erin's still behaving, which is good
Great
news.
to hear. Yep.
This could be a Category 4 hurricane out east of the Bahamas. By Monday, Hurricane Center now showing Cat 4 status. This could be a big one out there, but again, everybody on the U.S. coast still looking good, including us.
Great.
I'll talk about that latest track here in just a little bit. I'm also going to talk real quick about some cake.
Oh, yeah.
We had a birthday this morning on the morning, so I tried to get Chanel to come on air.
Oh, she didn't want to?
No,
oh, that's
happening.
okay. Well,
we'll try to. But anyway, happy birthday to Chanel.
Yeah,
and
happy
our production
birthday.
Crew. We get to enjoy some cake this morning, which
Oh,
is
yeah.
double nice because it is a Friday.
Yeah, it's always nice to have some sweet treats on a Friday.
Absolutely.
All right, well, before we get into your forecast, Jim, we do have a story from last night and into early this morning. The Washington Board of Adjustment meeting wrapped up. Their meeting began at 6 p.m. last night, and it lasted more than 7 hours. And this meeting, the topic up for debate was about a local bed and breakfast, their permit. The city is saying that the bed and breakfast is kind of going against some of the city-wide regulations and requirements in terms of guest limits and how many people can be there.
What's
that was
the city again?
Washington, city of
Gotcha.
Washington.
Yeah.
So they had a big meeting last night. A lot of people came in, both in support of the bed and breakfast and some who oppose it, just kind of citing traffic concerns with the amount of people who sometimes gather there. So we do have a story from our Charlene Richards, who was at the meeting last night. She unfortunately had to leave a little bit early because the meeting had taken a little bit long. You did? Oh, wow.
Walking out of the studio,
yeah.
Like,
So
she had a long night.
She did, yeah. So we do have some reaction from some of the residents, and we'll tell you a little bit about what happened at the end of the meeting following her story.
Bed and breakfasts. They're often used to house tourists visiting the area with breakfast included. But city officials say one owner is now hosting events and allowing more guests than the permit and zoning rules allow. Neighbors say the activity is causing some safety hazard concerns.
Well, I don't mind the events, and the noise really doesn't bother me. It's the parking. It's a very narrow street, and she's got sometimes 50 guests, so at least 25 cars. There's only room for one car to go in any direction, and a fire truck cannot fit through.
The city says it's received multiple complaints about traffic and large gatherings at the El Hotel, even issuing courtesy letters and notices. But other bed and breakfast owners say the traffic is a city issue, not a business issue, and worry about the decision to stop its use impacting the main intention of a bed and breakfast and the revenue being brought into the city.
In my B&B, I've got 5 guest rooms, so I have a total of 10 people on a regular basis. And having that capped at 24 for events at all would be really problematic, because I think it'll snowball and it'll affect my business as well. One, I can't do events, or I can't have staff, or I can't sell merchandise. I sell sheets, towels, and things that we use in the B&B. Those are all significant income streams, and if those are gone, then I'm out of business.
So obviously, looking at that video right there, a lot of people who showed up to that meeting. I don't know how many people ended up staying for the whole time, but it did last. We were checking the Facebook live stream this morning when I got in, and it lasted over 7 hours. At the end of the meeting, what I saw on Facebook is that the board decided to table the talks for the permit, give them 4 months to kind of sort things through, and then they'll revisit the discussion of the permit in 4 months' time. So interesting to see where that's all going to be playing out. Obviously a huge thing for the community, seeing all these community members coming out both in support and in opposition of what's going on with the bed and breakfast.
For an outsider looking in, a non-resident, you can see both sides of the argument.
Right.
There's good points on both sides of the argument, and the hope would be that they can sit down and find a way to make everybody happy, obviously, because that business is good for the community as well. If she's getting 50 people a night, It's a lot of business coming into Washington. And I love the fact that Eastern North Carolina, with the sounds and all the waterfront communities, we've got all these wonderful little spots. My wife and I do it frequently. We'll go to these bed and breakfasts, spend a weekend in these fun, nice little, very happy communities. The residents are always wonderful.
Right.
And there's these little gems in Eastern Carolina. Washington is one of many. So hopefully they can figure out a way everybody can win out of this.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, well, let's talk weather now. We've got some good news on the way for the weekend.
Bed and breakfast weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. Do a little getaway onto the waterfront. That would be a really great weekend.
Yeah, let's go into it. We're looking at less rain, a little less humidity as well. I'll dig into that. First, let me get you updated on our almost hurricane. Aaron's knocking at the door. Likely we'll have our first hurricane of the season before the sun sets today. Could I end up wrong on that? Yeah, but it won't be long after that if it's not. Right now the wind's still at 70. Let's say reach 75 or higher sustained. The classification will change to a hurricane. So Aaron right now is still a tropical storm. Moving west, I gotta move that map, I'm sorry. There's Aaron right there sitting out over the open Atlantic waters, headed to the west at 15 to 20 and getting better and better organized. When you look at these satellite images, when you start seeing that thin fanning of the clouds around the periphery, see that right there? That's indicating good exhaust, good outflow, we call it, aloft. The air comes together at sea level around the low pressure center, has to rise, lifts up. You need a good exhaust system evacuating that air out. That's a healthy tropical system when everything starts to work well together, much like your car's exhaust. The air comes in through the intake, through the carburetor, it burns, in this case it rises with the hurricane, and then you kick it out of the exhaust. The better the engine runs, the stronger or faster the car goes. And this tropical storm is going to get stronger and faster on the winds as it gets healthier. By the time we get to Sunday, Monday, winds 120 to 130 sustained. That means we could have a Category 4 hurricane north of the Dominican Republic and Haiti and east of the Bahamas. Notice no land masses there. Aaron not directly impacting anybody, it appears, through the course of its life. We get into, this is Tuesday night, the end of that track, headed towards sunrise Wednesday. Category 3 hurricane, winds actually down a little bit to 120 and potentially still coming down slowly as it makes its closest pass. She does Wednesday into Wednesday night. See that timestamp, Wednesday 8 p.m. That's the end of the lines you're looking at. These are all the different tropical models. That's a good clustering with the storm as the sun is setting Wednesday, somewhere between Hatteras and Bermuda, closer to Bermuda probably. That track, that strength, big surf, big surf, big surf, and everything that comes with that. Probably some 10, 12 footers coming in, minor beach erosion, maybe some overwash on Highway 12. We'll see the rip currents get very dangerous the middle of next week. And then into the weekend, everything starts to taper back down. Look how quickly that thing runs away. Thursday morning into Thursday night, racing northeastbound and getting off the map altogether. There's one last look at Aaron. Next name will be Fernand. So we roll the map over into the Gulf. This probability development has jumped up to 50%. The chance of coming together is going to be limited to maybe a 24-hour window. By the time we get in towards tomorrow's sunrise, that tropical wave, now building low pressure, will be moving inland. But it may manage to become a tropical depression or Fernand before moving on shore near the Mexico-Texas coastline, maybe late tonight, tomorrow morning. Big rainmaker for them. All right, let's come back home. Headlines for the day today: scattered afternoon storms. I got a little rain on the coast. I'll show you that in a sec. Yesterday we hit about 90, 91. I think similar numbers today. Heat index back near 100. You'll be sweating away out there this afternoon. Rain right now over the Pamlico Sound. Stray rumble of thunder there. That swath of precip, little weak low pressure near Ocracoke, Hatteras, and easing eastbound, not driving inland. So Greenville right now is dry at 72. Washington, gorgeous shot. Shadows shortening up on the Stewart Parkway, 71 degrees as the semi heads over the bridge there in the background. Love that shot. All right, the air temps all around the area, generally low 70s. beaches, Outer Banks, Crystal Coast, 76, 77 on the thermometer. So we get to 9, 10 o'clock. You can see that bit of rain out on the coast, kind of easing away late morning. Inland, that's nothing but sunshine. There'll be a few clouds around. 2, 3, 4 o'clock, I think a few storms will pop. You don't see anything there, but I think there'll be at least a few of them out there. So grab the umbrella again as you head out. And again, near 90 this afternoon. Overnight, quiet, get you into the weekend. Saturday morning, headed out the door with mid-70s, few clouds in the morning. Afternoon, more sun and clouds. A shower or two afternoon hours, yes. A bunch of rain, no. Splash and dash, hit and miss shower, 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. generally tomorrow. I wouldn't cancel any plans. There's that chance you'll catch a shot of rain quickly tomorrow afternoon. More misses than hits on that. Winds continuing out of the northeast. So this afternoon, again, a muggy 90 with that heat index near 100 later today. I think I've got my beach. There's a heat index, by the way. 100 today, weekend better. Feeling like low 90s. Comes up a little bit on Monday. But generally after today, we'll get out of the heavier, muggier heat. If you're doing the beach today, the rip current risk back up to moderate on the Outer Banks, low rip risk Crystal Coast. And again, the rain on the Outer Banks exiting late morning. I don't think there'll be much rain around this afternoon, and I almost wish I hadn't put any on the Crystal Coast. But a shower or two here or there, certainly possible. Mid-80s on the sand, around 80 in the surf. And we've got a low tide. We're just coming off that, so we'll come to a high tide. Noon, 1 o'clock today. All righty. 8-day forecast, 90 this afternoon. Storm chance 40% later today. If I was doing just the Outer Banks, I'd have an 80% AM rain. I mean, we've got a lot of area we put this 8-day up for, so I'm trying to reflect as much as I can, or the majority, if that makes sense. 40% afternoon scattered storms, cut that to a 20 tomorrow afternoon, and then generally sun-filled skies Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Highs upper 80s near 90, some 60s for overnights this weekend. Mid-week, the big surf starts coming in, maybe late Tuesday, more so Wednesday, Thursday, with those beach impacts. And then the Winterville Watermelon Festival kicking off Thursday, going into the weekend. Rain chances start picking up, not from Erin, but a front, Gigi, approaching Thursday, Friday. And I've got a lot of different solutions on that front. Looks like it may slow down. Hopefully we can kick it through Friday, get a good weekend for the Watermelon Festival.
Yeah, that would be great. Glad to see that we're having a nice weekend this weekend, though, yes. Especially because we've just been seeing rain for the last several days. So
yep. It's been
finally
a wet week.
Nice, yeah.
And the Contentnia Creek, with all that rain this week, is in a flood warning.
Okay.
However, this is not a big deal.
Okay.
The river running near minor flood stage. When it's like this, I like to say, be careful if you're going to be out along the river. Currents whipping along. There's a lot of debris in the river, maybe some limbs or branches or trees that have come down from the side. So river goers, be careful. No flooding of property or farmland. The high waters on the Contentnia.
All right.
That'll come down below flood stage later today.
Okay, great to keep in mind. Thank you, Jim, and thank you everyone for joining us on this Friday morning. We're going to be back at 8 a.m. for another news and weather update. Hope you can join us then.